distinguished guests, authorities, members of the faculty, students, families, and last but not least, IMT school graduates, welcome to the 2019 PhD graduation ceremony of the IMT School for Advanced Studies Lucca. For the welcome remarks, on behalf of the city of Lucca, we kindly invite to the stage Ilaria Maria Vietina, Counselor for Education.
Dear eminent teachers, director, president, and all of you, I have the pleasure to extend the greetings of the Mayor of Lucca, Alessandro Tambellini, on the occasion of the IMT School PhD ceremony. This is a precious occasion to renew the message of full appreciation for the activities of the IMT School and the satisfaction for its high quality level, even recently certified. The IMT School in Lucca is an excellent research and educational opportunity for our city and our community. The commitment, the initiatives, and the results achieved reach each year the highest levels. The quality of the work carried out is certainly due to the professionalism of the whole teaching staff, the excellent work organization, the passion and commitment of all the people who collaborated with the IMT School. A special thanks goes to the director, Professor Pietro Pietrini, who immediately knew how to connect the path previously developed by the school with new research perspectives and projects of the highest value. A sincere thanks also goes to all non-teaching staff whose work is invaluable for the care with which each activity is planned, implemented, and shared. The city and the municipal administration intend to express their heartfelt thanks to the Cassa di Risparmio di Lucca Foundation for the consistent, competent, and constant support with which accompanies the activities of the school. Our greetings are aimed at both female and male students who have chosen to complete their training courses here. To those who will obtain the doctorate today, the most sincere congratulations for the result achieved and the most fervent wishes to reach their goals both in their professional field and personal life. We hope that the time spent with us here at the school and in Lucca may constitute a pleasant memory in their future and a crucial cultural passage for their formation. Last, we would like to thank you for your presence and wish you to enjoy the ceremony.
We now invite to the podium the director of the IMT School, Professor Pietro Pietrini, who will give his address.
Good afternoon, authorities, colleagues, students, citizens, friends. It's a true pleasure to welcome you here today to our PhD graduation ceremony, which is a very important moment for all of us, for the entire community. It's a moment in which the students who graduate today will receive their diploma, which is the signing point of a completion of a journey here at the school with us. And actually, when you receive a diploma, it's like an arriving point. We think of a diploma, of a graduation, as a point of a final point, a point of arrival, which is indeed a point of arrival. A point of arrival after 3 years of more years of being with us, of studying here at the IMT school, of researching, of taking lessons, of going abroad, coming from abroad, and so on and so forth. But it's actually a starting point. Because in research, you never have an ending point. You always have a novel starting point. Once you think you have got a response to a question that you had, is actually a new point to ask a new question and to travel further. And this is the way I actually advise. I actually think is the IMT school, the way we are here. Students come here, and you well know that you have been selected through hundreds and hundreds of applications from all over the world. I actually think my assistants also prepared some interesting slides here just to put this in writing. To have an idea of people coming from, students coming from all over the world, basically. This is the slide selected, a slide which refers to the students from the cycles of PhD, students which are graduated today. So you can see that essentially there is, even if we have small numbers, we have a relatively, I would say, more than relatively good representation of different countries. Here you can also see in a different way. And this is actually what we try to achieve and what we like to expand even further, because you know, because I think you have already heard me saying this in different occasions, including recently at the academic year inauguration in April, the school has no borders. Well, actually, we have just one border. We have no borders. There are no geographical borders. There are no borders based on ethnicity, on religion, on gender, on sexual orientation, political orientation, whatever. We just have one admission criterion, which you all will know because we have been selected: merit and motivation. The impression, an impression is in its Latin original meaning, is much more on what we think currently impression is like. I get the impression. Impression is something very solid, very concrete. So it's the impression that you leave on us when you send your CV, your application, and when we talk to you during the examination, admission examination, and when we select you. That impression is we try to do our best to select the best students, most motivated students, those who we think will be the students who like to challenge what is already known, like to ask always why, by curiosity. When you look around, you ask why. Why is this in this way? Why are these lamps round and not square, for example? Because it's by asking why, by constantly asking why something is in a given way and challenging what is already known, that there is a progression of knowledge. And in these years, we have tried to give you instruments to cultivate your curiosity, to increase your ability to ask why with a novel and original approach, based also on our model. The model that combines different disciplines together, disciplines that only apparently are far distant from each other, but knowledge is just one. In the ancient world, the knowledge was just one. There was no scientific sector, lines, different chairs. There were philosophers who would think and ask why in different domains of knowledge. And I think that we somehow in modern tools, with modern tools and with modern ways, the school with its campus model just puts together something like that. So you come from different places, you come from different backgrounds. It's interesting that you are selected. I mean, there is no type of degree filter. I mean, so you can apply for which doctorate you wish independently from the type of degree you have. So we have architectures, the people with degree in architecture who are doing neuroscience, or with degree in law who do cultural heritage, and vice versa, and well, all these things. And this is an experiment that seems to work. And the research symposia that we had, the 3 research symposia that we held during the past year, including in particular the research symposium which just concluded today, professors, researchers, and then students are a clear demonstration of that. Different researchers, different students from different backgrounds talking to each other, receiving questions from different backgrounds, sort of instilling curiosity, promoting curiosity in other students. So the campus model, the IMT school model, is a model that I think is a valid model to make you grow the way you should grow. Achieving a research doctorate diploma, so completing a research doctorate, is more than what is the terms may meaning. Is to complete a maturation phase of your life in which, independently from the type of career you would like to pursue, and we wish you all the best, of course, it will give you a different approach to life, a different way to whatever will be your pathway in career, your either academic, research, professional, industrial, whatever. You will have different instruments to pursue your goals. Better instruments, larger view instruments. Knowledge is really the essence of life. We have here, we know no borders, I told you. We don't know. I think this slide, the preceding slides, show that we have no borders. We have people coming from different places, staying together and going to different places. This is just the way the students who were here before you are now around the world. We have to date 307 IMT graduates, well, basically are working around the world, just to show you the different places where we are. They may be working in companies, in industries, in academics. These are different places. Give you the idea that PhD, doctorate degree is something that opens you doors for your career to pursue. It's a tool, it's not an achievement. I told you before, and I said before in many occasions, we have no borders. Actually, we have just one border, which is our challenge. It's the border which separates what we already know from what we don't know. That's the only border that a scientist, that a researcher knows in his life, in her life, and look at that border with the hope to have instruments to push this border always further and further to expand knowledge. And this is what I can, is the best wish we can make to you, we can give you. Always be curious and ask why, because research, pursuing research is not a job, it's a privilege. It's a privilege because it's not something you choose. I would almost say that actually those who do research have been chosen, so to speak, by some other entity, because it's something you feel. It's your first thought in the morning and the last thought at night. It's not that you say, I have to work. I have to think. I have to ask a question. You don't do this. This is a very particular job. Challenging what we don't know is the most fascinating work It's the most fascinating job we may aspire in life to have. And if in these 3 years you have been with us, which, as I said, are just the beginning of your adventure, and as a matter of fact, in these very days, you are launching the Students and Alumni Association. Actually, tonight there is a party of the newborn, was born a few months ago, of this association. I know that you are going to elect, or you have elected, I don't know, but in these very hours you are electing your president. And this is a way to keep that sort of network between those who are here now, students, those who will enter in a few months, and those who are already around the world and have been at IMT before. It's a sort of a physical and unphysical network, something that when you have been in a school like ours, it enters in your blood. You will always be a IMT student, IMT alumni, forever. So having an association makes this also a sort of more concrete way to live the IMT experience. So I think that as professors, this is a school. So basically, we are professors here, and the school exists because of you. So you students are our reason to be here. If you were not here, we would probably be a very good research center, but just a research center. We would not be a school. To be a school, you need to have students. So you who are here are our reason to exist. The main reason for us to exist. The main reason for us to be the way we are. You decided to apply for IMT school, evidently because you were convinced, you had the faith and trust in the model that we propose. Your parents and relatives, and I see some of your parents and relatives here today, were probably very proud of you, not only because parents are always proud of their children, but also because you were selected among many people, many applicants from every part in the world to come here. You did your job in concluding your research and research pathway here at IMT school. And I think that all I can say is this. I think that if now that you are about to leave us, about to walk with your own feet, to pursue your path of research, of a professional career, or whatever you will end up selecting, I think that as professor we should be proud and happy if now you have a little bit more curiosity, a little bit more of understanding and willingness to challenge what we don't know, a little bit more than the day you enter here. So with this in mind and with this wish, I wish to congratulate you all for all you have done, and wish you all the best, and to feel what you felt during these years, to feel this until your last breath. Thank you very much.
Some of the graduates who are here today to receive their diplomas to deliver a speech about their experience at the IMT school. First, Rosaria del Toro from the Computer Science and Systems Engineering curriculum.
Good evening to everybody. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to IMT School for the challenging opportunity it gave me. After my master's degree in math, I felt uncertain about my job's future, and I didn't realize what my real vocation was. Then I heard about a call for PhD positions advertised by IMT. I applied for it, and before doing my interview, I spent 2 days in IMT school, where I could find out a small but astonishing ecosystem, which was totally unexpected for me. I celebrated the admission to the program with many uncertainties because I didn't know if my theoretical studies could face a PhD in civil engineering. However, the idea to interact with people having multiple and different backgrounds and approach scientific questions from many points of views made me enthusiastic. In fact, every single experience in IMT, international exchange, class, trial rehearsal, workshop, enriched me with new approaches, new techniques, new energies and perspectives. I also had discouraging moments. I spent endless days on fixing a wrong equation, a program that didn't work, a project research that was too inconclusive. The thought to drop out of everything was appealing, but I did my best and I went ahead. Going out from the comfort zone produces new opportunities for the future, and IMT taught me it. I wish my colleagues to catch brilliant and successful opportunities. Thank you.
We now invite to the stage Yuan Gao from the Management Science curriculum.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buonasera. My name is Yuan Gao, and I've been with IMT from November 2014 to December 2018. When the PhD office asked me whether I can give a short speech at the ceremony, my first thought was, why? Why me? Of course, I said yes, because it's such an honor. This actually reminds me of how I often wonder the same thing throughout my PhD study. Why me? Why was I chosen out of so many applications to IMT? This question first came to me when I learned the number of applications to IMT every year. And then more often, as I got to know my very intelligent and hardworking colleagues. And even more during my first year when the coursework was delivered in a much heavier and very different way from what I was used to. And every time when I struggled with the deadline, and also more often when I struggled to find a viable approach to my thesis. I know a part of being the very best people is to be confident and say, of course, they should choose me because I am one of the best. But the fact is, the challenges I had at IMT were significant. I'm native Chinese. I received my bachelor's degree in Shanghai, followed by several years working as an engineer in the industry. And then I quit my job and went to the US for another engineering degree as a master's program. When I left China for the US, I never thought I'd go so far in academia. my plan was to finish the master's degree and then find a job in the US. But when I actually got a job offer there, I decided to come to Italy for a PhD. And now looking back, I am so grateful for my decision. Like Tim Cook said, for the most important decisions in your life, trust your intuition and then fight with everything you've got to prove it right. As an international and non-EU person, my life was more complicated, but that's why I appreciated the overseas experience more. Without the classical educational background in economics or management science, I had to learn more. But that's also the reason to drive me to find out what I'm really interested in, which is why things are like what they are now and how do we make them better. Being surrounded by excellent colleagues reminds me that I am not that good, while driving myself to become better and keeping me being proud and inspired all the time. All these challenges made me keep asking myself, why me? Until today, I don't have a very good answer. But I do know that IMT has made me a better person. Each step of being unsure about myself has made me more confident. For that, I am thankful. I'm thankful for IMT to take me in, for my advisor Massimo. Without you, I couldn't have made it. To the colleagues that I have been working with and to the supporting staff, you have always been able to make the impossible possible. And I also want to take this special opportunity to thank my family. They have always been standing behind me, even when they didn't fully understand why or agree. So, 爸爸妈妈，谢谢你们. My mom is here today. IMT is one of a kind school. History and front-end research combined together. It's just charming. During my 4 years here, I have witnessed how IMT has grown together with its students. And I think that's one of the most unique and wonderful things about the school. I hope to continue being proud of IMT as an alumni for the years to come. Thank you.
The next speech will be from Jeroen Allard van Liet de Jode from the Economics Management and Data Science curriculum.
Yes, hello. I thought I'd share some of the lessons I learned over the last years with you. And I did data science, and I learned that, well, if you just give a list of lessons, then people don't really pay attention. They don't read your paper or something. You have to actually give some nice examples. So I thought, let's pick a nice example, and I found one right here at IMT, which is IMTeam. If it's gone, okay. IMTeam, our football team. So I thought, let's look at the data behind this and see what are the lessons I learned over the last years. So when I first came here, we just played some games amongst each others. And then somebody had the idea, let's join the local football league. So we signed up in my second year and played, and well, we didn't do too bad. We ended up somewhere in the middle of the ranking. But I thought, why aren't we at the top? Why didn't we win? So I looked really good at all the other teams and all the other players, and then I looked at our players, some of which are here, and I found that we are really by far the smartest team. And apparently that gives you a disadvantage. No, I mean, the lesson there is, I think the lesson is that something like that doesn't tell you anything, and I found that in research, a lot of your research questions are really, they're useless because you find results and they don't mean anything, something like this. So then the next year, we asked our great professors to not just hire the best new students for the new cycle, but to hire the best football players. So we signed up again last year, and we went again. It didn't work. We ended up last. So, but then I remembered the second lesson I learned in doing research, and that is, if you have a result and it's bad, you can always turn it around. Because instead of saying we ended up last in the championship, you can also say, well, we actually didn't lose all of our games last year. Because it's true, and it sounds a lot better than the first one. And then for the last part, I really crunched all the data on our team. I looked at all the players, and I found one really concerning statistic, and it's that there's 100% correlation between me playing and us losing. And what is the lesson there? Well, it's not to not play football with me, but it's actually to have fun, because that's what IMT is about, and I think you should always do that in life. So have fun. Thank you.
We now invite to the podium Lucca from the Economics Management and Data Science curriculum.
Okay, looking for my slides. Yeah. Nope, that's the wrong slides. These are the ones, yeah. Yeah, white slide. That's what I wanted. Okay, good afternoon, fellow graduates, students, IMT faculty, IMT staff, authorities, and everyone else who decided to come here today, and valued family members. I would like to thank especially all the parents here today, who by now are probably attending their third, fourth, or even fifth graduation ceremony, and are wondering if this is finally the final one. I'm happy to tell you it most likely is. My colleagues who have spoken before me have already outlined how IMT, PhD life, and academia in general have enriched them both by boosting their career prospects, problem-solving abilities, number crunching, stimulated them intellectually, and created lifelong friendships. While I don't want to bore you with one more such account, I would like to talk about a major issue that remains largely unspoken of in academia. Yet most, if not all of us here have experienced it at some point, as Ms. Gao already outlined. I'm talking about the imposter syndrome. And now, the imposter syndrome is the feeling in which one doubts one's ability to compete with the more accomplished others, living in fear to be exposed as a fraud, irrespective of how many times you're proven that you're actually worth it. In the 3 years at IMT, from my arrival, taking courses, pursuing research, and finally arriving at that one most important decisions of them all, choosing the correct font for my thesis, I have gone through the first 4 stages of the Dunning-Kruger curve. If the speech now has turned a little bit nerdy, I apologize, but I think it's adequate for the setting. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias in which people of low ability have an illusory superiority and mistakenly assess their cognitive ability as greater than it actually is. In other words, when you start out learning something new and interesting, you don't know enough to know that you don't know enough. Something that you probably have seen many times in other people, but not in yourself. Why am I bringing this up? At the beginning of my time here, I'm thinking also some of you, I have found myself at peak confidence. I know everything about this. Also known as Mount Stupid. Sure, that from here on out it would be smooth sailing and everything would be easy. I have climbed the peaks of undue confidence, descended the slopes of increasing doubt, and walked the savanna of learning by failing. In case you don't know yet, science is hard, very hard. Good science, doubly so. I apologize for this poetic outburst. In fact, the journey has been far more mundane, but still one I'd choose again if I had the choice. I think that it is important for current and new students to know that everything will be just fine, so don't panic. Enjoy the journey, especially since you have been given a great opportunity to work on this amazing campus, surrounded by brilliant yet imperfect minds. Being aware that we are all in the same boat makes it not only okay to say, I don't know, and ask for help, but is, in my opinion, the most important ingredient to make your time here count and make the best of your fellow students. The reason that I have found myself in this position is that science is hard, as already mentioned. To quote Douglas Adams, one of my favorite authors, the universe is a lot more complicated than you might think. Even if you start from the position of thinking it's pretty damn complicated in the first place. Starting out at peak confidence, the way to finishing a PhD or any other worthwhile research is seldom a straight line from start to finish. In fact, if your research were so simple to be from start to finish, in one simple, you could plan it ahead, it either has already been answered and you don't know it yet, or it's not really that interesting to begin with. However, all dead ends, detours, new problems I have encountered on my journey to complete this PhD represent a truly life-changing experience. In short, while the journey is hard, it is also the most important part. As the old adage goes, the journey is the goal, in a quite literal sense. To those of you in the audience who might be in a similar situation, either having experienced the impostor syndrome themselves or looking down from the peaks of undeserved confidence, I want to say, while this feeling might never completely disappear, it is normal. Science is hard, and if it weren't, it wouldn't be worth it, and most importantly, it wouldn't be so much fun. So, I leave you with the undying words of the Nobel laureate Niels Bohr, a person you would think had life figured out. An expert is a person who has made all the mistakes that can be made in a very narrow field. And I think that goes doubly so for PhDs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the IMT graduates for their speeches. We now invite to the podium Davide Bacciu, who is the newly elected president of the IMT School Student and Alumni Association.
Touch something. Good afternoon, everybody. It's for me a true honor, and it's a pleasure, above all, to be here, to be speaking as a president of the Student and Alumni Association of the IMT today. It is a big day of changes for the association because it's the first reunion of the alumni, but for you, of course, you graduates, because today we celebrate the successful conclusion of several years of study, work, and dedications to your PhD. And, well, in my position, I've had the opportunity and luck to stand in several undergraduate committees for bachelor's and master's in computer science, mostly. And there I've witnessed how those are truly moving moments for the candidate, of course, for the families, for the friends, for the fellows, but it is also for those sitting on the other side of the tables. I've seen full professor, even counselors of university, with their eyes wet while they were giving their oration to the public, because they were overwhelmed by the strength of the happiness and the proudness of the audience, of the family, of the friends, by the perception of the conclusion of a bachelor's and master endeavor as an event of societal relevance. PhD graduation seems to me instead a more intimate thing. Well, not this ceremony here, of course. This is with all the family and the hashtags and whatever. But think about the moment in which you have defended your thesis, in which you have discussed it in front of the committee, there you most likely had your close friends and few close friends, possibly who have shared with you the PhD and or still are sharing with you the PhD. And well, a completion of a PhD, for the good and the bad, it's a very personal thing. It's something that is going to define who you are. PhD graduation is also university self-declaration of unneededness. The accomplishment of the highest level of education, a statement of the fact that university has nothing more to teach you. You will still learn, if you're lucky, for the rest of your life, but from people and from experience, not from an institution. And, well, guys, ladies, this means basically that you can no longer define yourself students, I'm sorry. No more student nights, no more student discounts, you're off with that. And also means that you will need to find a new definition for yourself and for your ID as well. I don't know whether you know it, but in Italy, for those Italian of you, we have this ID card, and at least those old-fashioned ones, you know, those ones in paper, those ones you should never use when you cross a border because they look like your 2-year-old daughter has drawn them. Yeah, never use them. Well, those ID cards have a field in there and states profession, okay? Well, for many years, at least my ID card has written student in that field. And, well, you know, the chance was that after, I think it was a couple of months after my graduation, actually, I had to renew my ID card. So I went to the office, and the officer asked me an unexpected question: what should I put in the profession topic, in the profession field? Yeah, well, that was actually quite an unexpected and tough question to answer at the point. It was a tough period of my time. I graduated, which was good, but my PhD advisor just passed away. I was completely severed out of academia and with a research group dismantled. And so I had seen no perspective in going in academia yet. And so in front of that officer question, I realized that I thought that what I wanted to read on that profession field was a researcher. Then, of course, I said, put student. But here I stand in front of you, on the verge of renewing my ID card in a couple of months, and doing the work that I wanted. I'm faculty in academia now, and so the message is, start today choosing what you want to be, okay? And don't choose what seems to be within reach. Choose what you really want to achieve, and no matter how hard or far beyond reach can seem. So the Student and Alumni Association is also here for that, for you to help you in this process, to provide guidance, support, motivation, and also contacts. IMT alumni are all over the world in every job position you can imagine, including a recently elected member of the European Parliament, just to say. So, as you know, many of them are coming here to Lucca tonight, and tomorrow is the first reunion of the IMT alumni and student meeting, so many more will come in the future if we work together. So the invitation is, of course, to join the Alumni Association and to use us, okay? Look into our alumni for inspiration and mentorship, help and support the association, and in the future become the person who step up on this podium and tells the future IMT graduates that everything is within their reach. So, congratulations, IMT graduates.
The ceremony proceeds with the awarding of PhD diplomas. We invite back to the stage Professor Pietrini, as well as all our graduates who will receive their diplomas. Anita Mariana Bunea, PhD in Management Science, with a thesis on worldwide diffusion of solar photovoltaic panels and the role of state incentive, perspectives based on diffusion models. Vitaly Buravlev, PhD in computer science, with a thesis on improving the efficiency of tuple spaces. Rosaria del Toro, PhD in computer science and systems engineering, with a thesis on dynamic homogenization of composite viscoelastic materials. Loredana Fattorini, PhD in economics, with a thesis on production networks, firm productivity, and geography. Yuan Gao, PhD in management science, with a thesis on network analysis on international patent data, technology cohort, temporal dynamics, and the role of trade. Dania Marzo, PhD in analysis and management of cultural heritage, with a thesis on events and temporary uses in the historic urban landscape, Lucca comics and games between localized interactions and a worldling project ecology. Doriana Medic, PhD in computer science and systems engineering, with a thesis on relative expressiveness of calculi for reversible concurrency. Vihan Kumar Naik, PhD in control systems, with a thesis on mixed integer quadratic programming algorithms for embedded control and estimation. Federica Parisi, PhD in economics, management, and data science, with a thesis on entropy-based methods to tackle missing information in complex networks. Giacomo Rapisardi, PhD in computer science and systems engineering, with a thesis on critical phenomena in multi-layer networks. Andreas Temelis, PhD in computer decision and system science, curricula and control systems, with a thesis on proximal algorithms for structured non-convex optimization. His doctoral thesis is in co-tutel agreement with KU Leuven. Stefano Tognazzi, PhD in computer science and systems engineering, with a thesis on equivalences in differential and algebraic systems, theoretical and practical aspects. Jeroen Allard van Liet de Jode, PhD in economics, management, and data science, with a thesis on analyzing mesoscale structures in economic and financial networks. Maria Venianaki, PhD in image analysis, with a thesis on cancer tissue classification from DCE MRI data using pattern recognition techniques. Luca Verginer, PhD in economics, management, and data science, with a thesis on the mobility of scientists and inventors, patterns and determinants. Thank you very much for attending the IMT School for Advanced Studies Lucca PhD graduation ceremony. We now invite all the guests to the cocktail that will take place outside in the cloisters. We kindly ask the graduates to go back to the stage to take a group picture.